So in this video, we're going to talk about the quadratic equation. Quadratic equations are equations that have a highest exponent of 2. In the general form for a quadratic equation, they look like this, where the a, the b, and the c are all real numbers, and the only thing that the limitation here is that a cannot be 0. Because if a is 0, then 0 times x squared would zero out this term, and we would just have the highest exponent of 1, which is a linear equation. So quadratic equations are also called second degree equations. And they have a highest exponent that you will see in the equation is 2. When you graph a quadratic equation, you get a shape that looks like this. So this is my XY plane, and you will get this kind of like a cup shape. It's a U shape, maybe another way to think of it. And the quadratic equation has two options. It's either going to open up like this, or it's going to open down like this. And it will open up if the A is positive. So A greater than 0, it will open up. It will open down if A is negative or A less than 0. And so all you have to do is look at the value on the A, and that will tell you which way it will open. Now, there is a point on this quadratic, on the parabola here, that is called the vertex. And that vertex is the minimum point. So it's the lowest the quadratic equation would graph, the lowest point, if A is opens up, if A is positive. And the vertex, if A is negative, is a maximum point. It's the highest that the parabola will go if A is negative. So this is just talking about the graph and that shape and the minimum or maximum. So when we see these parabola equations, they do sometimes cross the x-axis. So for example, let me draw out some xy planes here. So I could have and again, they can open up or down. We're just going to put some on here that open up. I could have a parabola that looks like this and crosses the x-axis in 2 spots. These intercepts are called the x-intercepts, or they're the roots, so they're another word, or the zeros. These all mean the same thing. So it's possible that the parabola crosses in 2 spots, and we would have 2 x-intercepts. It's also possible that the parabola looks like this. So it goes down, it touches, and then it goes back up, and it only touches in 1 spot. So you'll have 1 x-intercept. It's known as a double root. And the third possibility is that the parabola lays somewhere up here, or it could be, if it was opening down, it would be down here somewhere, and it doesn't cross at any location of the x-axis, and we would say there's no x-intercepts. So those are the 3 possibilities. So when we're looking at a quadratic function, in order to find the x-intercept, we have to, just like with a linear equation, to find the x-intercept, you let y equal 0 and solve for x. So if you had a function that looked like this, and you wanted to find the x-intercepts, what you would do is you plug in 0 for y or f of x. Remember, f of x can be replaced with y. You plug in 0 for the output, and then you solve for x. So I'm going to write that down. To find the x-intercept, let y equal 0, or the output, the f of x is the output, and then solve for x. And when I see this, I say, oh, I want to get x by itself. Like with the linear equation, we start subtracting, moving things over, try multiply or divide both sides. But when you have a second degree equation with an x squared, we can't necessarily do that. What we'll need to do is solve it using some methods. And so how to solve a quadratic? Let me write this. To solve a quadratic, there are three options. Option 1 is to factor it. Option 2 is to do what's called complete the square. And option 3 is to do the quadratic formula. So option 1 is not always an option that works, because sometimes we cannot factor a second degree expression. So it won't factor over the integers, or give us nice numbers. It's something where we would have to do the quadratic formula in order to solve, and we'll end up with some decimal numbers sometimes. The completing the square, again, this does work typically, but it can be very difficult if the a is not equal to 1. And the third one here, the quadratic formula, this one works all the time. So if you want to, you could use the quadratic formula every time you see a second degree equation to solve it, and you'll always get the answer. So, but we have three options, so we're going to look at each of the options. And we'll do the problem that I had on the board, but we're going to start with the little more simple of 1. And so let's look at this one. Let's say that we had our function y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 7. And we want to find the zeros, or the x-intercepts. So I plug in 0 for y, and then I'm going to solve this one by factoring. And so what I do is I look for, well, first thing first, I guess, before we even start to solve using any of the methods, we always want to put it in this form, and that general form of the ax squared plus bx plus c, and set it equal to 0. So for example, if something was over on the other side, like if this was y minus 7 equals x squared minus 8x, I would want to move everything to the other side. Sometimes you'll have a problem that doesn't even have a y. It will just have, like it could say this, and it will say solve for x. So we'd have to move the 7 over by adding 7 to both sides. and make it look like this. And then we would go about solving. So the first thing first is we want to rewrite the equation in this general form, where you have it in this x squared, ax squared, bx, and c. Descending order, everything on one side set equal to 0. Then we're going to factor it. And in order to factor it, you want to take a look at the values for a, b, and c. A is the coefficient on the x squared, so here it's 1. B is the coefficient on the x, so -8. And c is the constant by itself. So when you are factoring, you are looking for factors of c that sum to b. Now, and this is, I'm going to specify, this is if a is equal to 1. So we want factors of, in our case, 7 that add to -8. And so there are only two factors of 7. It's 1 times 7 or -1 times -7. And when I add these two together, I end up with 8. And when I add these two together, I end up with -8. So the one that I'm going to select is the second one. And I'm going to factor this. I'll split the x squared. I'm going to write two sets of parentheses. Split the x squared into x and x. And then I'll write -7 minus 1. I was thinking ahead of myself. -1 and -7. And it doesn't matter if you put x minus 7 and x minus 1. It's the same thing. It's just multiplied in a different order. And now we'll go one step further and we're going to say, okay, because this is multiplied together, there's multiplication in between these two parentheses, I can use what's called the zero product principle and set each factor that contains a variable equal to 0. So that zero product principle says if you have a times b and it equals 0, then either a has to be 0 or b has to be 0, and that's why we can do this step. And then I solve each of these by this one. I'm going to add 1 to both sides to get x by itself. And for this one, I'm going to add 7 to both sides to get x by itself. And I get x equals 7. So I've got two answers here. And then I'm going to check if I did this right. My original, I had plugged in 0. And then I would put in 1, square it, 8 times 1 plus 7. And I check if the two sides match. And it does here. 1 minus 8 plus 7 is, you end up with -7 plus 7, which is 0. So the two sides do match, and I've checked my work. And then I do the same thing for 7. So I would erase this, and I'd put in 7. 7 squared is 49. 49 minus 56 is -7 plus 7 is 0. So it does work, and so those are my two answers. So if I was to graph this, I would see that it crosses the x-axis in two places, 1 and 7. So that's how we solve with factoring. Now let's look at a method for factoring when the a is not equal to 1. This method is called the slide and divide method. And what it means is we're going to take this a, I wrote down the a, b, and c on the right hand side. We're going to slide it down. And so I'm going to end up with x squared plus x minus 2. And then I'm going to factor that. So let's factor that now. So pause the video and try factoring it and see what you... So I needed factors of -2 that add to +1. And these are my correct factors I plug in there. And then it's slide and divide. So this is the step that you need to do in order to do this method properly. You have to divide out that a that you slid down. And now you try to simplify. And if you can't simplify, you slide it back. So the 1/2 does not simplify, so I slide it back. The 2 divided by 2 does simplify to 1, so that's my answer there. And then I would set each of these equal to, each factor equal to 0, and I would solve for x. Well, here are my two solutions, -1 and 1/2. This is one method. It's the slide and divide method. There are other methods that you can do